Let's go for it.
So, okay, so I did try to watch X-Men 97.
Okay. I've seen up to episode
I got about
5.
Really?
Yeah, I got up to episode 5.
And this is like a movie, this just came out and it's made to look like something from the 90s.
It's supposed to be a continuation inspired by the original 90s X-Men cartoon.
Okay, because I noticed that. I got through the opening credits.
Mm-hmm. Same theme song. Right. Well, they revamped it a little bit, but it's still the same thing.
Okay. And at a certain point, I remembered I had an appointment to jump off a building into a vat of razor blades.
Because of the show?
I can't. No, it's not that show. I don't like. I can't stand. I tried to watch Little Miss Marvel. I can't. I like some of the old Marvel comic stuff, like the old Marvel cartoons from the 60s where they use the stills and stuff like that. Right. I like the music from the Spider-Man show from the 60s, and I like some of the movies, but
to me this is like that X-Men cartoon to me is like the best thing that Marvel has done. So them revamping this or continuing it I've been excited in watching it. I've probably seen all 5 of those episodes at least twice, and then even like episode 5. I don't know if
here's what always happens with me. I do enjoy some of these movies, and I wouldn't mind trying to watch the cartoon, but I'll watch. This happens to me a lot. I'll watch Batman, and even as good as Batman was, like at a certain point, you're just like, why is this grown man wearing a goddamn Batman costume? I can't get past it, dude. I can never get past it. The last Batman was essentially 7, like a PG-13 7. Yeah. Except the Morgan Freeman guy was dressed in a 3rd grade Halloween costume for no reason.
And I get like that too, because like I love Batman. I'm a huge fan, but I wouldn't even say I hated that movie. I found it unwatchable. And
it was a little too dark. Yeah. It was a little too lit. It was terrible.
Yeah, and so it just wasn't for me. So that's kind of the realm that I put it in.
And I watch shitty stuff. I watch shitty stuff. I got nothing against shitty stuff. Just that it's just not for me. Anyways, but I have watched enough to know that there's nothing woke about it whatsoever. All right.
1990s Rogue. You may notice a very caked up individual.
She is caked up.
New Rogue. She went from
big ass.
She went to a negative rear end. It is concave. She went from a big booty, beautiful booty to Hank Hill.
And now it is virtually impossible to masturbate to it.
Yeah, like I'm not sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, the thickness of the cartoon was like,
it's good to look at.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but at the end of the day, it's like I was also watching it when I was like a kid.
Exactly.
Like I'm not watching
this is for kids.
Yeah, I'm not watching it now to be like, how sexy are the characters going to be? Also, there are sexy characters in the show.
And the Quartering is one of these guys that's constantly complaining about grooming kids.
Right.
Why do you want to show them a caked up ass? Dude, although, I got into this whole thing. Some people misunderstood it where I was defending. It sounded like I was defending this guy named Vaush, who's like this leftist guy. But I got into a debate with a guy over this. And it lasted like all of 7 minutes before he hung up on me because I was just so I was just yelling at him.
Well,
because I got so annoyed that this kid apparently got caught. I never looked it up,
right.
So I don't know exactly what it is. But there's some debate over it. He had these drawings of like horses. They may have been fucking ogres or like trolls, but they may have also been like young girls.
Okay.
But they were cartoons, and I'm just arguing with this guy, going like he was calling it pornography, and I was like, it's not pornography if you can't jerk off to it. He's like, well, people do.
Okay.
And I was like, I think if they are, I think then if you're jerking off to Pebbles Flintstone instead of Wilma Flintstone, that's slightly weirder. But I think that once you're jerking off to the Flintstones, you've already left planet Earth. And you're just really into the Flintstones.
It's aphilia. It's Flintstone philia. Like,
yeah. So I just like this complain about people about how M&Ms aren't sexy anymore, or
they're not. I mean,
you can't fuck an M&M because of wokeness. Also,
Damn shame.
yeah, by the way, what does that have to do with wokeness? But I don't want to be pedantic about how they use the word woke.
Yeah, that's its own thing.
But
Yeah.
I don't remember. But but this is a very specific complaint. I mean, it's woke.
It's actually
If I
not
can't
uncommon.
jerk off
I've
to
seen
a
people talk
cartoon.
about this online, though. I've seen people say, albeit I took it with a grain of salt. I've seen people say, like, damn, like, they must not have had the budget to really give Rogue the ass that she deserved, or the ass that we remember from,
Yeah.
the actual 90s. But
Yeah, if you're complaining, hey, not enough fake titties in porn these days. I don't understand what ever happened to fake titties. I remember the good old days when girls had googly eye titties.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're looking in different directions and shit. When
now
they
you
fuck,
can't even tell.
when they
Well,
fuck, you
can,
can see the
but
bag wrinkling underneath their titty.
Not now. It's
Now it's all natural tits.
Well, it's realistic now. So
Yeah, it's girls. It's girl.
4K.
It's the girl next door.
4K. That's the process.
Yeah. So I mean, so that I can understand. If you complain about that, I get it. It's a cartoon, okay, but whatever, dude. The Quartering's a fucking weirdo. I didn't even know he liked grown ass women, but whatever.
Hank Hill. Now, I admit, this particular angle isn't exactly how every little aspect of the original cartoon was.
He's analyzing this shit like this is a Zapruder
Hey,
film.
I'm really looking at it. Yeah.
She wasn't always drawn like this. But these are the people, they wanted it. So remember that this is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Oh yeah, that's another good point. Thank you for making my point for me. It's Disney. If you can't jerk off, if you can't jerk off to Pinocchio anymore. And that's the other thing. They always say go woke, go broke. Do you know fucking most of those movies when Walt Disney was alive that he made bombed?
I mean, that makes sense.
Except for Snow White, like Pinocchio and shit, they were all supplemented by Disneyland. So they don't go broke. And it ain't wokeness.
It's
either.
over. Morph's characterization in X-Men 97. Cool, let's see.
Yeah.
Quote, this is a lighter take on the character who is non-binary and has an interesting buddy relationship with Wolverine.
But Wolverine has been known, whether fans react or not, because the other thing about this show is it's not just a direct continuation. They're bringing in stuff from the decades in between and making a story out of that, and kind of, I don't want to say recharacterizing, but they're adding shit to this. You're talking about Morph, a character that can morph into anything.
Okay.
At some point, it's probably convenient to be non-binary. Otherwise, he would have never morphed into anything female or anything like to begin with. And also, it's been known Wolverine. I'm not making a declaration that this is why people are queer or bisexual or pansexual.
Did they make Wolverine gay?
Well, Wolverine's been gay for a while, but he's been bisexual or open. He's had gay relationships.
Oh, okay. That would explain the side.
And this isn't new. I think he's had gay relationships probably since the 90s, at least 2000s. Also, Wolverine is very, very old. If let's say Wolverine's 100 years old, I don't even remember exactly how old he is, but in that amount of time, I'm saying this tongue in cheek, but it's just like, if you were 100 years old and still in peak physical condition and all this other shit, and you had this healing factor, it would probably cross your mind once or twice to be like, how come I never banged any of these dude mutants?
Yeah, and 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? But yes, no, he's had gay relationships. And
This
stuff
raises
that.
another complaint.
Yeah, this isn't
that
from
I
Disney.
have.
This is from source material.
Because, and I'm not saying every comic book fan, I don't know how many of these comic book fans are right wing. If you go online, you get the impression, like the Quartering and these geeks and gamers, and there's another channel we're going to be shitting on named Stitch and Adams. Every time I see these guys, the people who complain about Marvel are always these right-wing guys. Now, here's the thing. Another thing I hear from comic book fans and stuff like that is, you should take this as seriously as you do literature. Right? So, now if that's going to be literature, that would probably best be qualified. You'd best call it science fiction.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ursula Le Guin, who has her own American Masters And I've never read her, but I have friends who are smart, and they read her. So I know smart people read her. So and she was writing about non-binary aliens, genderless aliens,
right?
And was using these sort of alien stories as these alien adventure stories as an opportunity to talk about gender. So that's what being serious literature is. Like, you tackle themes that are contemporary,